because transverse growth of the face when studied by the development that we see that nearly complete at age 18. Okay? And the growth of the width of the maxilla and the nose largely, that means almost 100%, occur between 7-11. I already told you that it's a golden period to treat in the growing child. That means almost, if we treat late, the outcome will be less, because although some patients may be grown until 18 years old, but in 18 years old, just a little bit of the growth left, right? That means 7-11 is very important for you when you want to intercept about the transverse discrepancy in the young child. The cause of the maxillary constriction comes from because we are in the modern technology. The food of the children is like a processing food, and the environment around the world has a pollution. So we have the problem very much about the problem, the constriction of the maxilla. From the study, we show that from the Indian population has a lot of the problem about the transverse problem in the children in the Indian. Okay? Then when the bone is less like constriction, but the tooth part is still also never very complete. That means crowding will be present. This is the cause of the sequelae about the maxillary expansion, maxillary constriction. So maxillary expansion is the common procedure in management about the transverse maxillary deficiency. This is the sign of the maxillary transverse deficiency. When you saw the posterior crossbite, you already know, wow, this is, you need to expand. But in some cases, because the lower dental compensation, there is no posterior crossbite, right? But maxillary constriction occurs. This case also misdiagnosis. Another problem we saw in the young child coming to our clinic, we saw that upper incisors ectopic or cannot erupt into the oral cavity. This is the signs show that there is a maxillary transverse discrepancy. Another one, when you examine the patient, when the patient read your dental chair, you will see a cleft. It's not about the cleft in the palate. No, it's about the cleft in the palate. This is the sign to show that this is the condition about the transverse maxillary deficiencies. This is you have to treat by the appliance because it not self-correct by naturally. Okay? In the past, in 1955, some orthodontists in the United States trying to expand in the primary division because they know that it's very easy to treat about the transverse problem. Also me, nowadays, I try to treat the transverse problem in the primary division. It's about my pilot study within the evidence base or maybe the basic knowledge to treat, because nowadays we are in about the airway orthodontics. That means we treat about the airway problem in the younger child. Dr. McNamara in the United States also report that rapid maxillary expansion is a cornerstone of our early treatment protocol. That means we should expand expand early as possible. Some rapid maxillary expansion can help to spontaneous correction in the class 2 and class 3 mouth cushion. Okay? So, when you have a growing child coming into your clinic, you have to evaluate to differentiate between the problem about the transverse deficiency. What is the dental problem or maybe the skeletal problem? And then you choose the right appearance for the right causes. Okay? When you expand the maxillary arch, every millimeters of the posterior expansion produce a space for the arch perimeter. That means you got a space for the posterior teeth to erupt into the oral cavity. So, the diagnosis is very important. Where is the problem? The problem in the maxilla comes from, first, if the problem comes from the upper part, that means in the body, maxillary sinus or frontal process, you have to expand the skeletal problem. But if the problem falls into the alveolar process or the dental problem, you treat just about the dental alveolar problem. This is the conclusion that you have to differentiate between the dental alveolar expansion and skeletal expansion combined with dental alveolar expansion. So, the word expansion. When you have a problem about the orthodontic, that means the dental problem, you do the orthodontic expansion. But in some situations, when the primary teeth exfoliated and the upcoming teeth erupt into the oral cavities, but the position is not good. The tongue and the lip balance when they erupt is called passive expansion. The passive expansion, you don't do anything, let the naturally restore the position of the teeth. But if you have a problem about the skeletal pattern that is constrict, you have to do is called orthopedic expansion. That means orthopedic expansion and passive expansion is just about the slow. When you use a plate to expand dental, it's called slow expansion. The rate of expansion is very little by little. The effect want to make the bone, when the tooth move, the bone grow with the tooth, right? But for the orthopedic expansion, it's about the rapid expansion. Okay. So when you want to do the arch development, there are difference between dental alveolar arch expansion and skeletal expansion. The difference is that when you have a problem about the dental alveolar, that means you use force to move the tooth and then move, and then the bone grow together with the tooth. It's called dental alveolar expansion, right? But for the skeletal expansion, that means the tooth is on the when the body of the human on the it's called on the boat, and we split the boat, and the boat left and right, and the human on the boat come together with the boat. That means tooth move with the bone. It's called skeletal expansion. Take a slide. This is criteria to when you consider when you want to use the invisalign first, or you want to use the invisalign palatal expander. It's so different from the indication. That means what is wrong? They told we're not wrong. Should use invisalign first, but the skeletal wrong. You choose IPE or invisalign palatal expander. Okay, this is my story. That's me. So different advanced to treat. I will show you the simulation when you have a case like this and you want to expand. You can see that if you want just about the dental oral expansion, you use a plate or maybe you use some cell ligation system bracket to move the teeth to expand by the arch wire. You can see that you can expand but you tip the teeth and align the teeth. What happens? You can see that tooth move out of the bone. That means this case will be our tooth will be expanded in the future because we use the wrong diagnosis and the wrong treatment plan. But if you use the expander, the tooth still will be in the bone, but you have bone plenty. That means you have to use the advanced or procedure we call rapid maxillary expansion. What is this? Is this the procedure that you have to use a heavy force or orthopedic force to apply, pass to the tooth and to the alveolar bone and pass to mid-palatal suture in the median palate and split the suture left and right. This is the anatomical that I want to show you that the palates come from left and right using in the young child. You can see that. And you can see that when we split in the mid-palatal suture, the effects will not be just about this one. Also in this area, that means it's like up to below the eyes. Rapid maxillary expansion when you use orthopedic force, that means you use a heavy force, apply the first one, and then the fourth dot, and you activate more. Residual load just drop up, again, up and again, until to the threshold force. Threshold force that's enough to separate the suture. After that, it can be expanded easily, right? You have to accumulate residual load until threshold, okay? It's called orthopedic force expansion. When we do the rapid maxillary expansion, we expand the mid-palatal suture with the heavy force, and then you have to give a time. You have to give a time to restore the bone. When they split, it's called bone formation in the area of the cleft that you split the suture. It's called holding period. That after you expand and suture split, we have a separate the palate into left and right. We have to waiting time for the bone to accumulation in this area. At least 6 months. At least 6 months. Yeah? Mechanical behavior of the rapid desktop expander, you can see that not only just on the transverse frame, also break into the upper part and anterior-posterior. You can see that every organ will affect by just the force that separate this suture. Therefore, you can see from this slide, it can split up to frontomaxillary suture. That's why when the patient have a problem about the breathing, about the snoring, about the sleep apnea, when we do this maxillary expansion, it's better. You already know that when you're interested in the about you are pedodontist, you are interested in treating pediatric child or child. The issue about the sleep apnea in the young child is the special issue that we have to consider. So that when you know the pathophysiology of the rapid palatal expansion, it's very essential for you to understand this concept and help the patient not about the dental. You can help the patient about the airway problem too in the future. This is the mechanical behavior about the when you study in the study from in the APODO in the past, you can see that the force distribute up into mid-face, right? Not just only in the palate. Okay? This is the tapping up to skull. That means the heavy force, especially in the young child, can spread the force from the mid-palatal suture into the under below the eye. Okay? So there is a study about the rapid maxillary expansion on the cranial and circummaxillary suture is involved. Every suture in the circummaxillary. Because when you study about the suture from the palate, when you use the skull, you can see that when you do the rapid maxillary expansion, there is a process of the maxilla that may be resistant when you want to expand. But when the suture, this suture resists you to expand. When the child older, that means when you treat the transverse problem in the older child, it may be difficult for you to separate the suture because there is a lot of bone to block out. You want to expand, it blocks, cannot move. You fail. Okay? When you fail, when you want to expand, what's next? You have to go to surgery. It's a big problem, right? This is from the study in the journal. You can see that when we do the rapid palatal expansion in the young child, you can split largely in quantity. And what happened? You can see that there is a parallel expansion, not in V shape. If you do in the older child, it's really in V shape because we already told you that the palate use genetic influence when the child older, you have to split. But when the younger child, the genetic not influence too much, so you can use your enveloping factor, right, the rapid maxillary expansion to split with the parallel. Okay? When you use the IPE studies, when you use it in the older age, you can see that orthopedic expansion, this is the main goal, just only got 40%. Only 40% if you do in the older child. The other form, the dental tipping, because the force push to the teeth and tip the teeth back. So tip the teeth backwards, okay? That means critical time is very important to do the transverse expansion, right? Jumping into the design of the rapid maxillary expansion, appliance. Okay. Maxillary expansion appliance over the time, you can see that from the old in the traditional and development unto the last year, align technology introduced Invisalign palatal expander as an alternative of the digital appliance to help you to do the rapid maxillary expansion. So when we divide into about the handicap, it's means that used by laboratory in your manual, okay? And another is about by digital age, like use digital technology to planning about the appliance. However, this used by school. You must use the school to expand the force and split the suture. But align technology use a serial on the expander. It's very easy. It's very comfortable for a child. Parents don't want to and push the school and activate the school is very difficult for parents. Okay. Typically, about the rapid maxillary expansion, Dr. Angel is a dentist in the United States use by to divide or to expand in the molar in the young jaw. This is an example of the appliance. And after that, the majority of the analogs about the maxillary expansion is about the has use but we use the acrylic to have as a part to distribute force to the teeth. So after that, this is the most common use in the analog system is called highlights. You will see that it's called highlights, right? Okay. And Dr. Manamala devised the highlights and use the occlusal acrylic block in the occlusal to cover it more on the anchorage piece, right? Diagnosis. How to diagnose about the transverse skeletal discrepancy. There is various techniques to do, but I summarize for you just only into three ways. First, you don't have an X-ray, chroming CT, anything else. You use first you consider about the model analysis, and then if you have a 2D X-ray, you use 2D radiograph analysis, and you have a modernized 3D X-ray, you can do chroming CT analysis. The first model analysis, that means you have to consider about the curve of incidence in the child. There is a compensation already. And that means it's very important. You have to evaluate about the dental compensation both upper and lower arch. That means you have to evaluate about this is the dental problem or the skeletal problem, right? And then you have to know about the normal growth, transverse molar movement during growth. This is normal or not, right? In each period of age of the child. Okay? And first of all, if you want to do the technique about the model analysis, you have to know about the normal or maybe normal which from the previous study. That especially in the study by the Dr. McNamara about the skeletal, that he tried to calculate what is the normal at each age. You have to measurement from your patient and to see, compare with the norm by the study, right? And then, wow, my child is so conflict, you have to expand. How much to expand you compare with the norm, right? First of all, you have to evaluate about the value. When you saw the picture on the orthoscope field or the orthoscope picture, you can see that there is no it's called leg area next to the teeth. That means you cannot expand more, right? You cannot expand dental more. So in this case, you cannot treat by dental lung expansion. You must treat by skeletal expansion. So this is the example from the AutoCAD. That means when you scan, you have to measure. You can see that in the lower arch, the lower arch is collapsed like this, right? This is normal or abnormal? It's abnormal. Because you know that teeth needs to be loud and upright, but it can't be loud because it's like a box. You have a shoebox, and the lid cover is upper arch, and this is the lower arch. The lower arch want to expand. No, the lid cover. That means in this case, when you expand the upper, you can expand the lower, right? So when you evaluate the dental model analysis, you can know that in this case you need to expand in the upper arch. Okay? However, when the patient has about the skeletal problem, what you do by the dental landmark is maybe not good, right? So skeletal diagnosis must be established using skeletal landmarks. Okay. So we skip into another technique. Use a 2D set. We know that from the study by the Dr. Rickett, okay? We have a norm by the Dr. Rickett, and then we divide from the X-ray, right? And then we calculate and compare with the research by the Dr. Rickett. Okay? Wow, my child, my patient has a mesenteric constriction, and you compare the values, you know that how much you need to expand, right? The third is about the chronicity analysis. This is the most accurate way to diagnose in nowadays. This is you must know that the mesenteric arch and lower arch should have difference 5 millimeters. You calculate from the chronicity and compare. You already know, wow, the value is lower, how much you can expand in the upper arch. This is the accurate diagnosis, okay? And you can see that you have to consider about the dental compensation. Don't worry, you have to evaluate in your treatment plan too. For the tomographic analysis, you have to evaluate in 3 kinds of space, like sagittal, axial, and coronal. And then you have to evaluate. Like this is the example for my case. The girl comes to my clinic with a problem about the upper reticulum cannot erupt into the oral cavity. It's very difficult to consider. This is the example about the mesenteric transverse deficiency. Especially you can see that in the lower arch. Lower arch is collapsed, like a lobe in the box, and the box is covered, right? So when we check with OPG screen, you can see that there is a list of the canine infection, right? And then when we saw the chronicity, wow, no space for the canine. Okay, so we have to evaluate by chronicity, accuracy. So when we compare, when you do by model analysis, accuracy 50%. When you PSF, 60%. When you do by chronicity, 90%. Okay, it's increased. How much expand we can evaluate case by case from the values that difference, and you have to evaluate about the biotype of each patient too, and try to use the parameters as anchorage in the expand. What is the Invisalign power expander? Invisalign power expander is from nylon gel. It's really biocompatible stiffness and light. It's called the lightweight. Okay, this is an example. When you scan, you must scan with the iTero scan, and then you scan palette and push, and then you send it to the lab. The lab we use machine learning different, just in AI algorithm to know that how much we can expand and the shape of the IPE shape in each stage. Okay, this is the thickness customization. You can see that it's very different in this area. And product design want to expand separately, parallel. Okay, this is the device seating for my case. Okay, clinical advantage. Okay, because it covers the palatal wall, is really good. Okay, and we have covered to the anchorage and easy to remove. Then you switch from the previous. You can see that from the previous when you use the IPE, the force go through this step from the leg of the metal and split like a V shape. And then after that, when you use the IPE, we try to split laterally of the force. Okay, that's when we can have effective in expansion more. This is the fitting where you see that in the palate is not paste the front palate, right? And after the expand, you can see the midline, the astigmatic. Okay, that means midline also is split. This is the biomechanics to show that when you use Invisalign power expander, as well try to keep the teeth, but the appearance has an attachment to counteract the force to be the upright the teeth into, right? It's very effectively. Okay, so this is the useful of the Invisalign power expander with the evidence. I will show you how to easily use my case. You can see he can take with the one hand. It's really easy, right? Okay. And the bottom protocol for when we want to do the Invisalign power expander, stage 0. That means you have to use it in the mouth and have patient go back home and try to get used to with this appliance. About the speed, about the thinking, about to eat, patients must eat with this appliance. Take off just only when they want to brush their teeth, okay? And then we have an activation, that means how much can we expand the order from the prescription, and then when we expand more and enough, we have to stabilize that. I already told you at least 6 months, okay, before you do the Invisalign first further. Okay, this is my protocol. You can take a photo. Okay, this is a stage 0. Okay, and then you have to activation that you have change in each stage, right? And then after that, you have to stabilization. That is a older period, at least 6 months. Okay. Example of my clinical case. See, 7 years old boy come to my clinic. I saw a clinical sign about the maxillary transverse discrepancy in this case. First, upper lateral has no space to belong in the normal part, right? The answer is about the lower arch collapse. Lower arch is collapsed, right? So I I saw OBG and found that there is tendency about the penile infection in the future too, right? And then I'm not sure. I tried to send them with invisalign first. Then I measure from the check. Wow, the past palatal is not normal, right? And then it's not good for the, and when we saw from the front, from the back of the upper arm, we can see that the upper first molar tip totally already. That means when you expand more, what happens? Teeth will out of the bone. Teeth will jump out of the bone. It's very dangerous. So I show you that this case I use invisalign palatal expander instead. This is the example when I use about the five stages of treatment. You can see that I use the IPE time lapse to check. You can see from the video. It changed. This is the anterior. This is the in the palate, in the mid palate that we change. You can see that from the in to progress, from the in to progress, it has a soft tissue change, right? And for the dental, you can see that it changed. That means this appliance is very effective in skeletal expansion, right? This is an example of the case at stage 0. We check fitting and okay, this is the how they put in the mouth. Very easy. And you have to encourage people. Put heavy one, boom. Okay, it's okay. And take off, I will show you that. It's very easy. And the progress of the treatment, you can see that the palate is wider and the shadow of the palatal wall, right? And then step 17, you can see that comparative the expansion. So there is a lot of tension of the lateral incisor. You can see that when there is space, lateral incisor try to fill up into the oral cavity. But if you don't do the skeletal expansion, it still drop out. Another case, very interesting because this is the old adolescents, 14, maybe up to 15 years old, come with a good profile and severe crying. Because I don't want to extract any teeth when you want to align the teeth. So I evaluate when we saw the upper and lower arm. You can see the upper arm in constriction and the lower already collapsed, right? And then we evaluate by see the mid-palatal future. You can see that this is still okay, although 14 years old. So I decided to use the IPE in this case, but I evaluate carefully how much to expand, right? You see, from the stage 5, and then I cut the IPE and put the buttock in the lymph node to help the lower first molar to upright, because I want to help the patient confidence before I use the invisalign, right? And then you can see that from 0 to 12 stage, the palate is bigger, wider, and the cleft is less seen. You see, the cleft is better. And I stop at the stage 22. You can see that. Without lovely, you can see that you have plenty space to align the teeth without expansion, right? No, we can change from the expansion to be the non-expansion case at stage 22. This is the advantage about the IPE appliance for me and for the patient, okay? And the lower is maybe upright and will be used in Invisalign in the later stage, okay? And you also see that there is diastema between upper front teeth, right? That means IPE is effectively in the maxillary transverse expansion, like the traditional with the metal part, okay? So I will show you that because the maxillary expansion is very critical, so you have to do a reflex or maybe the post of instruction for the patient. I give this to my patient back home and read a lot about this, okay? So this is the key takeaway that in this part of expander system, we want to collect skeletal expansion in going patient. It's the series of the removable appliance composed of expander, that's in active part, and holder, that's in passive part to hold to make the bone formation in between gap that we expand. It's a safe and comfortable and clinical effective alternative. I emphasize that it's alternative appliance to use and really easy to use, okay? So key takeaway for the implement about the IPE, you have to ensure that this appliance comfortable and allow to follow the instruction carefully, right? And then bonding attachment and fitting of the expander is very important, like in this one first. So you can use by your technique, your assistant in your clinic. It's very easy, okay? It's enough time. So I finished my presentation about the IPE. Okay? Please give me your feedback about this. Give me a time to scan this QR code for our contents about the anything else you can find in the question about the QR code. Okay? So take home message about the last part is that we have to evaluate which one is about the dental problem or skeletal problem, and use the right appliance for the right case. Okay?
Scan code đấy qua.
Any question?
Đây CD đấy qua.
Any question?
Thank you. Quý hội thảo viên, các anh chị có câu hỏi gì không ạ? Các anh chị có thể đặt cho thầy để thầy sẽ trả lời ạ. Chúng ta có 30 phút ạ.
This question about the feedback you want to improve about the contents.
Em thưa thầy, em có một câu hỏi thưa thầy là đối với cái hàm long này thì ở độ tuổi cho các bạn là từ 8 đến 10 tuổi ạ. Nhưng mà đối với một số bạn thì các bạn ấy thường bị mất răng, bị sâu răng hoặc hỏng răng hoặc là bất kỳ lý do gì đấy thì các bạn ấy không có răng từ răng số 3 đến răng số 5 chẳng hạn, thì khi đeo thì nó có gặp khó khăn không và cách xử lý trong các trường hợp đấy như thế nào? Và trong khi là hàm mình đánh giá là hàm của hàm hẹp ạ.
Oh no, because we need anchorage, right? We need anchorage. So when you already lost for the not C, D and E, and this still just only 6, you cannot use. You have to wait for the premolar erupt fully. That means you have to have a critical crown length more than 4 millimeters. Because we want a space for the appliance to attach as an anchorage, right? So when you have just only first molar, you cannot.
Thank you. Em có một câu hỏi tiếp ạ. Đó là trong trường hợp khi mà chỉnh răng bằng invisalign đối với thuốc cắn sâu thì sau khi chỉnh xong có một số trường hợp là thuốc cắn đầu múi tối đa rất là ok, nhưng cái phần môi within 5 days after treatment with invisalign, we have the normal overbite overjet, but the soft tissue in the lower jaw is not beautiful. The soft tissue means that the lower lip also before the upper lip can be improved in that case.
We have to evaluate the problem about this. This is come from the soft tissue or maybe from the dental, right? If the lower lip protrudes, and after we collect, and we have to do the myofunctional therapy included in your movement of the teeth. But if from the lower teeth too much procline, and you retract and correct both anterior posterior and the vertical for the deep bite, the lips will move back because the soft tissue like the cloth or the sofa like this is covered. Okay?
We have a question in the QR code that in IPE case, if the primary tip is too short, is it possible to do IPE?
No, you have to wait, or maybe you if you want to use like a suitable time as early as possible, you have to do a suitable cut, or maybe you have to. I have one case. Left side is normal, DE6 normal, but in the other side 6 normal, but E is short because of gingival inflammation. I forget to check, I scan and send to the lab. The lab refused for this appliance because it's too short. So how I solve this problem? First, I told the mother, you must brush your teeth to help the child, and then after 1 week come back, still not good. How to correct this? I recommend to visual removal to make the crown is enough for to do the appliance. Okay, this is how to solve the problem. Okay.
We also have a question in QR code that during wearing the IPE, the primary tip is 48. Example, the numbers here for now.
Okay.
Can we
During treatment, don't worry if the retention is good, you know. But when before you do the appliance, it's lost. The lab cannot do for you. But when you do the expansion, during expansion active treatment, and some teeth loose, and the retention is good, don't worry. You can go on. Okay. Another question?
Trong quá trình bệnh nhân trẻ khi mà đã cái răng thì cái sự phát triển của cái răng nó sẽ trong những cái khoảng thời gian đấy thì thời gian mình tinh chỉnh sẽ là tinh chỉnh máng thì thường tầm khoảng bao lâu ạ?
I think when you want to do a more case about the interceptive treatment in the body child by invisalign product, both invisalign proper expander and invisalign first, you have to attend the master class because the master class will help you to identify any problem, especially you have to bring your case to study. And I will help you to solve the problem in this case. So when you learn from your case in one case, in two case, you will have a confidence to do the case by yourself because it's very important. When I start to do the invisalign treatment, I have a low learning curve. I have to study a lot. So I learn from the mentorship with high experience about the treatment. So I can catch up the case. So nowadays, when we have a case from the younger child or maybe adult or maybe although how much difficult I can handle it because I have handbook in my hand. Okay? Question?
The doctor have a consultation about doing expansion in IPE. The crown of the teeth continue to develop, the crown of the teeth continue to develop. But the IPE cover the crown of the teeth. Does it have any effect on the development of the crown?
This is a good question. If when we want to do the palatal expander, especially in A7, you already know that the upper six already fill up almost complete. So you don't worry about the intrusion, right? Because when you see the my slide, the thickness of the upper part in the optical surface, how much thickness? 1.5 millimeters. That's mean like in this line. In this line, upper and lower include 1.5 millimeters. And you can see that in this line, use a longer period than IPE, because IPE may have much 1 month or two months is finished, right? That means the effect on the intrusion and intentional intrusion of the first molar is not possible. Don't worry about this, okay? Because the thickness is like this side. So if the thickness have influence about the intrusion, so every patient in the Invisalign all around the world, 20 million people nowadays have a positive oversight every case, but not. You can see in my case, no. Don't worry about this. Because just active period, just in short period, 1 month, don't affect anything else. Okay? You can treat. I encourage you to treat by because it's very benefits for your child, for your patient. Okay.
Xin cảm ơn thầy và quý vị ạ. Em xin có một câu hỏi với thầy, đó là cái việc em có sử dụng các cái hàm nong nhanh và truyền thống ấy, thì bệnh nhân của em có phàn nàn về cái chuyện đau đầu, và rõ ràng là theo như em được biết thì các cái hàm truyền thống nó có ảnh hưởng đến cái sự phát triển của các cái đường khớp ở nền sọ. Thế thì với cái hàm IPE này thì liệu là với một cái đường gián đoạn như vậy thì có ảnh hưởng đến cái sự phát triển cái đường khớp ở nền sọ hay không, và bệnh nhân có phàn nàn về cái chuyện đau đầu hay không ạ? Em cảm ơn thầy ạ.
Yeah. Yes, but it can also happen because the IPE also is orthopedic force. But you know that when you use the rapid palatal expander in the traditional like a Hyrax or
như là khí cụ Hyrax, khí cụ RPE nong hàm, chúng ta đặt lực không liên tục. Còn với IPE thì chúng ta có cái học máy hay là trí tuệ nhân tạo, nó sẽ nong 0,25mm mỗi khay mỗi ngày, thì nó khá là nhẹ nhàng và thân thiện với trẻ em. Nhưng
from my experience,
Từ kinh nghiệm của tôi chưa gặp những cái vấn đề đó bao giờ. Nhưng mà tôi đã đọc rất là nhiều bài báo về cái tác dụng phụ này từ khí cụ truyền thống. Nhưng mà khi tôi làm bệnh nhân bác sĩ nha răng trẻ em thì trước đây thì tôi sử dụng khí cụ Hyrex giống như các bác sĩ, nhưng mà vấn đề nó không phải là vấn đề về đau đầu nữa, mà cái vấn đề là khi mà chúng ta lấy bỏ ben này, chúng ta tháo ben ấy, bệnh nhân bị viêm nướu rất là nhiều. Và một cái vấn đề nữa là khi mà bệnh nhân muốn nuốt thì cái lưỡi của bệnh nhân nó sẽ có một cái dấu hằn của cái screw, của cái vít lên trên lưỡi, và chúng ta sẽ cần một cái thời gian khá là lâu để cái mô của lưỡi của bệnh nhân có thể xóa bỏ được cái dấu hằn đó sau khi chúng ta tháo khí cụ. Thì thường là bệnh nhân hay than phiền về cái đó hơn. Và bây giờ thì tôi cũng hạn chế bớt sử dụng khí cụ RPE rồi. Thì 100% bệnh nhân của tôi có thể sử dụng được khí cụ RPE bởi vì nó dễ chịu hơn, không cần phải kích hoạt vít hàng ngày. Bệnh nhân cũng không gặp vấn đề